A little bit complicated this afternoon. Well, not complicated. Just got to move stuff around here. I had every intention to come on early. I sat down here early, and then, like sometimes happens, I got involved in things. I got sidetracked, and then before I knew it, it was 10 minutes to 5. So here we are. So I'm going to get right on with it, if that's okay. It is called Spiritual Temper Tantrums, and let's see what she has to say. Well, let's see what Reverend Kris has to say about that. First quote is from Brigitte Nicole, who is an artist, a filmmaker, and a surrealist scholar. And I didn't go any further into that. I don't know what it means exactly, but anyway, there you are. Oh, I know what surrealism, so I guess, yeah, I do. Never apologize for being sensitive or emotional. Let this be a sign that you've got a big heart and aren't afraid to let others see it. Showing your emotions is a sign of strength. There you are, Brigitte Nicole. And from Ernest Holmes, this is from the Science of Mind magazine, August 1972, on page 17. I don't have that copy. Probably my boss, Reverend Jesse, does. The divine spirit is ever present with us, no matter where we are. So in other words, God is everywhere. The divine, the all, the ground of all being is everywhere. So if it's everywhere, it's with us. It has to be. And this is from Reverend Kris, who says, I love watching toddlers and babies get mad. It's so easy to see the entire experience wash over them. They start by getting a little frustrated. Then they try harder at the task that is eluding them. When that doesn't work, they move to full-blown anger. Their faces scrunch up. They throw whatever is in their hands, stamp their feet, and begin ferociously wailing. And then it's over as quickly as it began. Forgotten tears dry their cheeks as they move on to the next activity. She says, or Reverend Kris says, what do I love about this experience? Well, aside from thinking that scrunchy baby faces are utterly adorable, I love the presence of the experience. Children are all in. When they're joyful, they're 100% joyful. When they're sad, they're 100% sad. When they're focused, guess what? They're 100% focused. And when they're angry, yep, they're all in. They aren't wondering if they're justified in their anger. They've no feelings of shame or guilt, well, at least none that we know of. They don't try to force themselves to not be angry when they are. And for this reason, their anger lasts only a moment before they move on. They don't repress it. They don't hold it in or attach themselves to it or decide they're an angry person. All that judgment and overthinking is purely adult stuff. While I don't recommend you throw down whatever is in your hands and stomp your feet, I do suggest you begin to see your anger as part of your divinity or as part of yourself as a whole human being, if you prefer that. What is your anger telling you? What is the gift? How can you honor it by allowing it to move through you without attachment? Okay, well, obviously, little babies have not learned how to start judging themselves, which is what this is all about. And they've not been conformed to society or their peers or whoever else. They've not been conformed there because they've just not had all that experience. So they're clean, at least for a while. They're clean. They're not influenced by all the stuff and the shoulds and the shouldn'ts. And they don't have in their brains, oh, is this acceptable? Is it not acceptable? And so on and so forth. It's gone. So they don't hang on to things. It's kind of in the same way that animals in the wild don't hang on to things. You know, when if an animal gets attacked and it escapes, then it's shaken up for a while. But before too long, I mean, before really a short length of time, that's gone and it's forgotten because they don't do what we do, which is keep churning stuff over in our minds over and over and over again. And let's face it, we all do it to some extent, right? We sometimes do it during the day. We sometimes do it at night. I mean, how many times have you and I been awake at night going through scenarios that either have happened, might happen, or probably never will happen? So what she's saying is that our emotions are our emotions. Now, do we let them get out of control? No, obviously no. I mean, there's a limit, you know? But what she's saying is, if you suddenly get angry about something, you shouldn't condemn yourself for getting angry. You do need to obviously control that anger. It's got to have an outlet somewhere, but it shouldn't be taken out on yourself or other people. You know, you got to find a useful way to get it out. I mean, one way I was taught as a kid was count to 10. If something happens and you're really going to overreact, count to 10. And what I also found was when I was in corporate America, and to some extent now, because I still use emails and texts, obviously, like the rest of you, that when I see something and I want to write an email and or send a text, probably I wouldn't pick the phone up and call people first. Then what I would do when I was still in the corporate workforce is I would write the email. It was more emails then than text, especially in corporate America. I'd write the email, I'd get it out of my system, but I wouldn't send it. I'd wait until the next day, and then I'd read it again and think, do I really want to send this? Or could I send something else which would get a message across, but in a much more subtle way, in a much more pleasant way, in a way that will produce a good result and not upset somebody at the other end. So you get two upset people and not one. So that's my 10 cents worth here, that it's our emotions are our emotions. You know, they happen and we don't judge ourselves for them. Do we control our emotions? Yeah, of course we do, within certain limits. But if we're upset, we should let ourselves be upset. But obviously, you don't go to extremes. You know, somebody on the road who gets involved in road rage and starts ramming another car, no, that's not acceptable, obviously. So there's the emotion and how we deal with it. And when we do our spiritual work, we're able to deal with it. We don't bottle it up, but at the same time, we don't explode all over the place either. So your spiritual work teaches you how to deal with things in reason and not condemn yourselves when emotions come up, because they're simply that, they're emotions. So that's what I have to say. I stay present to my emotions. This is the affirmation. Absolutely. Allowing them to move through me without attachment as I listen and respond to their messages. That's easier said than done, right? I mean, it's a lot easier said than done. Trust me. I stay present to my emotions, allowing them to move through me without attachment as I listen and respond to their messages. And this whole passage here is why we do our spiritual work, why we listen to good stuff, why we read good stuff, why we take time out each day to do some quiet time, some meditation, some breathing, and also some prayer time, whichever way that grabs you. And if you're more secular, then fine. If you're more spiritual, fine. Find out where you are on the spectrum. And as you said, you build that strong foundation. That's what it's all about, I think. Build the strong foundation. Then when the emotions come up, you can accept them and you will know how to deal with them in a safe manner. So that's it. That's all I got. Reverend Lisa will be here tomorrow at, let me see, 9:15. I'll be back about 5 tomorrow evening. And now I can go and play with my new system here and see how it goes. So until next time, namaste.